Yes, there was something rather specific about this car which we wanted to discuss, and that's the number plate. And you'll tell us why. Why that number plate?
P2 NHS. I do volunteer car service, which is a volunteer ambulance car service, taking people to hospitals and doctor's appointments. So I got onto Swansea, onto DVLA, and asked if that number was available and if I could have it. And it stands for Patients to National Health Service.
But you also have another rather unique, or not unique these days, but what would have been a unique relationship with the National Health Service, because 12 years or so ago you came on one of these rallies, or similar to the Jersey organised rally, and you had a bleeper from which hospital?
I did indeed. I had a pager strapped to me belt because I was on standby to go and have a heart transplant at Pratten Hospital.
Which you had about 12 years ago.
12 and a half years ago.
And other bits as well?
Yes, I was a very greedy person. I had a heart and kidney combined transplant.
And you're still...
I'm here.
They're
both still working.
12 years later.
Yep.
Which is really quite extraordinary, isn't it, now? Because here you are just walking around, nobody would know. An everyday thing, heart transplant.
Yep, heart transplant and kidney transplant, yeah. New pump and filter.
New pump and filter in mechanical MG terms.
That's it, yes.
I mean, obviously, you're alive, so it saved your life. Obviously, your way of life, everything's totally different.
Yeah, to a degree. I was a long-distance lorry driver, and obviously I can't go back doing that because my licence was invoked because of my health condition. But other than that, and being a little bit careful on what foods I eat, and taking it sort of a little bit slower, obviously. But other than that, no real difference. I still go out and visit friends and relations in Canada and America. I drive all over the country. I've driven down to this event from Northampton. I go to Scotland, go to Le Mans every year to the 24-hour motor race. So it hasn't really stopped me doing anything that I really want to do. And I also now marshal at Silverstone as well.
Because, I mean, obviously a lot of people, 12 years ago, it was relatively new, but when we remember Christian Barnard, wasn't
Christian
it?
Barnard,
how many years ago was that in London?
Christian Barnard done the first transplant at Harefield, and if memory serves, that must have been about 35 years ago.
Long term ago.
About 35 years ago.
But for you, when they said a heart, that must have shocked you. I think that must have...
Yeah, I mean, I knew I had a problem, obviously, because I spent some time in hospital. Well, the first sign was I actually couldn't get my breath, and it was my heart that had gone out of rhythm. And I was bleeding into the local hospital, and that's where they discovered I had an oversized heart. While I was in there, they then discovered that I had this kidney problem at the same time. So obviously all the alarm bells started going, because I actually had my 44th birthday in hospital. And yeah, from there it was just a case of monitoring.
Now
then
the
ended up on
kidney,
dialysis.
they attach that to the other, whatever's left of the previous one. They don't take those out.
No, they leave your old kidneys alone. They just leave them wherever they are. The new kidney goes in the perineal cavity, and they actually pipe it into your right leg artery. That's where it gets his blood supply from.
The
so
heart,
it's independent.
Is that the old one comes out and they put a new one in, or
that's it? Yep.
Is it? So once they've made the decision to take the other one out, you're up the creek if it doesn't work. The new one.
That's very true. Yes.
Psychologically, I mean, it sounds terrifying, but psychologically, do you have to be a particular sort of person to say I can deal with this?
When I went to Packworth to be assessed, and it's a 3-day assessment you go in for, and you go through numerous tests. There was within all those tests, there was a 2-hour psychoanalysis to see if you could mentally handle having a transplant. And obviously I must have passed that in flying colours, because on the 3rd day when I went and saw a specialist in the afternoon, I walked in, sat down, and he said, "Well, Mr. Pratten," he said, "you know you're terminal." And I said, "Well, no, I didn't, but I do now." But he said, "You are treatable." And the exact phrase they use is, "We are prepared to offer you a transplant."
Right.
You go away and think about it for a few days. I said, "I don't need to think about it. if you're prepared to offer it, I'll
There's
take
quite
it.
a lot of pressure on now for people because they don't have enough organs for people.
That is very true. I mean, the capacity, sort of like Papworth, they could do 3-4 times the number of transplants they are doing if they had the organs available.
Right.
They've got the capacity to do that many sort of 2 operations a day, 2 transplants a day. I suppose the average is about 1 a week, possibly 2 a week.
Now, you had presumably yours done on National Health Service. You got the number of your car is NHS.
Yes.
Did it cost you anything?
Not a penny.
Not a penny.
Not a penny.
I mean, people go on.
The only thing it costs me is once every 6 months I drive 50 miles over to Papworth, go into a clinic, get checked out, and drive 50 miles home.
We're looking in Jersey. We're looking at a new hospital and revising the health service. Fairly radical changes. Prescriptions are still free here, but you pay for prescriptions. Does that cost you a lot of money for prescriptions?
No. Prescriptions. Transplant patients are free prescription.
Right. So I mean, it must. In theory, provided it works, it's a brilliant system, isn't it?
It is very much so. I mean, I say as long as you do things in moderation, things like drinking and that sort of thing. You do it in moderation.
But in moderation, in your terminology, you can go to Canada, drive around to Canada.
Exactly.
That sort of thing is moderation.
Yeah. Nearly 4 years ago now, I've got an MGTF 135. I was shipped out to America. I flew out 2 weeks later, picked the car up from the docks at Baltimore, and drove around 14 states and up into Canada over a period of 8 weeks.
Your MG here, it's got the latest technology into the engine and so on. Any idea what's happening with heart transplants? Are they going to be having? Well, are they going to be doing them on photocopiers? These 3D photocopiers? Are they going to be popping them out?
I believe there are sections within the medical fraternity that there are pieces they can do down that. I mean, there are mechanical hearts and assist. Sort of backup hearts, and they could well be done by the 3D photocopier type thing. I don't know whether they are, but of course they could be.
Who knows what might happen?
Exactly, who knows?
Well, it's been very interesting talking to you from your motor car point of view and from your point of view. Most grateful for your time.
Thank you very much. No problem at all.